Okay, so I'm bored. So I'm gonna do a makeup tutorial, but not just like, watch me do my face. So my makeup is, I've done some pretty crazy looks over the years. I tend to not do that as much anymore, mostly because um, real life doesn't call for that usually, and definitely not any workplace I'm at. If I'm working manufacturing, I do not wear makeup at all. I mean, besides chapstick. I mean, because usually when I'm working manufacturing, it's usually a 10 to 12 hour shift. A lot of times I'm in steel toe boots and a hard hat and safety glasses and earplugs and all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, I mean, you can't be fussing about your face. I mean, it doesn't matter anyways. You're behind safety glasses and under a hard hat. So I mean, there's only so much anybody's gonna see anyways. Mm. But off my normal career office jobs, yeah, no, you just, especially in law, if you come in with like freaking full glam on, uh, it's a Luke. I mean, would I be afraid to do that for certain occasions? No, but it's just not really great for the everyday. I actually don't wear makeup a lot of days I'm at the law office. So, in fact, they have a hard time getting me out of my sweatpants. I'm quite the paralegal. The thing is I am, especially once I'm up to speed with a particular lawyer. I'm so good at my job. Now, in front of a client, am I going to wear sweatpants? No, I'm going to dress nice. But if it's just me in my little paralegal office behind my stupid computer typing all day, then yeah, no, it doesn't really matter what I look like behind a computer and answering phones and shit. So yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty low key. I kind of think of myself as kind of a, because I'm a litigation paralegal, and if you know anything about law, there's different types of law. Not all lawyers are litigators. So, a lot of them, they hardly ever see inside a courtroom. um, Litigation is kind of like the surgeons of law. So, um, and I mean, if a lawyer isn't a litigator, that doesn't mean they're a bad lawyer. They're not good at what they do. It just means you're not litigating. You're not going inside a court and hammering it out with the judge and all this other bullshit. And trust me, litigators try to keep it out of the courtroom as much as they can. So, because then you're leaving it up to the whims of a judge, and a judge, they can sometimes have a lot of different pressures in the background. Take my specialty in law, for instance, is collections law. Now, judges, a lot of judges, most judges are voted in. So they have to cater to the voter. And if they're coming up on a voting year, they're in a voting year, collections law, you won't go to jail for debt. There's no such thing as debtor's jail. So, um, yeah, if you owe a lot of debt, yeah, they can wreck your credit, but they can't put you in jail. They can't wreck your credit that way, which is a whole other type of credit. Um, and, in this economy anymore, I don't know anybody whose credit's really thriving in this economy. I mean, let's just be honest. You know, Regardless, um, you know, that's about all they can do to you. Is just show that, you didn't pay a bill and a bill went unpaid. But, I've been in it for a long time. I realized that, especially since COVID, and collections offices really had to take it easy for quite a while with COVID, and that's why I had to go back into manufacturing. Is because I thought it was a bad look, and it is a bad look to collect on people during COVID. Because I mean, something worldwide happened out of everybody's control, and a lot of people lost their jobs, and a lot of crazy happened, and nobody knew what they were doing or what was happening from day to day for a good solid 2 years. So I mean, I just didn't think it was a great look to collect on people during COVID. I did for a while, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it just brought out the worst in people. It made me lose respect for a lot of people. And it's just like, where do you draw the line with capitalism? Regardless, and the economy's been really shit, especially the last couple years. It's been major shit, especially since a certain president came back into office. Oh dear. So I mean, the economy really tanked. So the job market's shit right now. So yeah, I mean, they can mess with your credit to a degree, and that's about all they can do, you know. And there's always ways around that, you know. A lot of landlords, as long as you got the cash up front, they don't care about your credit. You know, I mean, they do, but they don't, you know. Obviously, if you have like 5 bankruptcies and like 20 evictions and stuff, yeah, they're going to care about that. But I mean, like for me personally, a lot of my credit's been messed up because of medical bills. I did have Medicaid for a while. It covered a lot of it, but not all of it. And, you know, a lot of the damage that I incurred because of Raider physically, you know, it was, you know, I had to take care of it. You know, I was in very serious pain for a long time. The car hit, you know, I mean, it's taken me out for longer than I thought it would. You know, it's been a hard thing to recover from, not just mentally and emotionally and all the rest, but physically. I've gained a lot of weight since all that happened. You know, I'm starting to feel better, but yeah, I mean, am I 100% no? But I mean, I'm not nearly as bad as I was 6 months ago. Sorry, I have a nicotine patch on. I have 2 on because I want to smoke like 5 packs of cigarettes right now. So, I mean, I figured probably 2 patches won't kill me. So, it's better than smoking a million cigarettes. So, yeah, and the adhesive makes me itch. It doesn't break me out, but it does make my skin itch around the area. So, yeah, and if I wear these for too long, my whole skin starts to itch really bad. So, yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as debtor's jail. You know, that just doesn't exist. So, anyways, I went way off on a tangent and I forgot my original point. Oh, litigation. Anyways, what was I talking about with litigation? Oh, judges. Yeah, so judges, they might take the side of the debtor if they're in election year or coming up on election year. Why would they do that? Even though, you know, the law firm, and these are the law firms I work for, even though we've made the entire case for maybe a year or two, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. We've done everything by the book to the T, crossed all the T's, dotted the I's, blah, 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 right? So why would they take the debtor's side, even though all evidence is, you know, points straight to the debtor not paying the debt? Why would the judge take the debtor's side? Well, because There's a whole lot more debtors than there are collection law offices. And if a lot of debtors start writing into judges and they're saying, we're getting sick of being attacked by these banks and these law offices, and, maybe we need a different judge, the judge will start ruling it for the debtor. They'll find, because they're a judge, and they're a judge for a reason. They'll find some fucking loophole, man, and rule in favor of the debtor and clear the debt or whatever, and because they want to be voted back in office. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of litigators try to keep it outside of the courtroom, because you never know what a judge is going to rule. Even if all evidence shows that most judges tend to favor the law offices if the debtor didn't pay and blah, blah, blah. But, they will take certain factors into account, extenuating circumstances, things like that. But, you can't control the outcome once you take it into a courtroom, because you never know how a judge is going to feel that day or for what reason. And they could rule totally in favor of the opposite party, even if everything points otherwise. Now, in certain situations like criminal law, things like that, are they going to let a mass murderer run free because A, B, and C, and they're getting elected next? No, that doesn't apply to that thing. I'm talking about civil court. So, but even criminal defense litigators, they try to keep it out of the courtroom. Why? Because if you take it to trial, you're leaving the decision up to a jury of your peers. Then you're leaving the sentencing up to a judge. Whereas if a litigator can strike a deal with the DA, and the DA is like, fine, I'll knock the charges down to A, B, and C. They have A, B, and C punishment. And, in a lot of circumstances, especially first offense, that kind of thing, they can go, oh, it's a 35-year-old who did whatever, as long as it's not like a really, really serious felony or serious crime or seriously drug related or something like that. The litigator can approach the DA with, hey, can we get a pretrial diversion or a judicial diversion or something like that? So they'll divert, and all that means pretty much is they do a year or two of tail between their legs behaving, and then they can have the option after they do all that to get everything expunged. And then they have no record, usually. Most of the cases, yeah. And, you just don't want to, because somebody that's like lived their life within the law and they have a mistake or two in life, that's a very good option for them, as long as the crime's not too serious, because, they don't have an established pattern of crazy behavior. It was clearly a mistake. So, and then they go on with their life. But, so litigation is kind of like the surgery of law, and like surgery is the top of the medical food chain. Those are the top dogs, surgeons and their surgical team and all those people. Those are usually the top people in the medical game. Well, litigation is the same in law. I am a litigation paralegal. So being a litigation paralegal, especially with how long I came up in law and came up in collections from the bottom, the absolute bottom. And yeah, it sucks, but you also learn a lot at the bottom. So, and I know things about collections that when I work in a collections law office, they could have had litigation paralegals there for 2 or 3 years, but I'll know things about that they won't even know or never even heard of or even knew existed, because I started out as a collector at the bottom. So I know exactly how it works from step A to step Z. So whereas like somebody that, graduated college and then they got a litigation paralegal job right out of college, and they're not starting at step A, they're starting at step, yeah, they're really coming in about step Q, maybe. They're kind of coming in at the last third of it. Yeah, so there's a whole lot in between, there's a whole lot before that. And they don't know about all that, and that's a lot of stuff to not know. So, yeah, so by the time I'm working as a litigation paralegal, especially in a collections office, I almost see myself as kind of like a judge in paralegal land. I don't mean that literally, I mean that in a different way. So, you know how judges wear robes, I'm like halfway to just wearing a bathrobe, like the litigation version, paralegal version of a robe. So yeah, to bathrobe to work. That's about where I'm at with it. So yeah, I mean, half joking, half not. But I mean, yeah, I show up in, my tie dyes and my sweatpants, and they're just looking at me like I'm an alien, because it's a bunch of lawyers in suits and stuff. And I'm just like, and it's not that I don't have all that, it's just I don't care. So I've really hit a major glass ceiling with my work. And anymore, I feel like my neck is in my head or up against it like this, and I'm being pushed up and it's cracking, but I can't quite get pushed through, And anytime I go back, going back to paralegal works fine, but anytime I go, or certain levels of finance, I'm fine. But anytime I go too far back, it ends up being heads button all the way. It's my skill set's way beyond all that anymore. And the thing is I fly through the work really fast and I learn really quickly, but I'll be lumped in with a bunch of people that have never done it before or have very limited experience. And yeah, so and I'm sitting here, twiddling my thumbs, and yeah, it's just frustrating all the way around. So what are we gonna do today? So yeah, I'm just like in a really weird spot in my career. The job market is shit. I'm just really not happy. So, yeah. There's, a lot of people aren't happy in today's world and in today's economy. What used to be a $25 grocery trip is now $50 or $60. And it's just like the paychecks aren't raising with the prices. And who the fuck can keep up anymore? It's just madness. So yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. So it's a subtle difference, but I am going to do how I used to do my makeup back in 2015 versus how I do my makeup now. Now, I wasn't usually too over the top with my makeup. Back in the day, I had my moments, but I wasn't usually too over the top for my daily wear of makeup. I did wear more makeup, but I wasn't over the top usually. So I'm going to try to do just make sure I have everything. I'm going to do the same color story on both sides. I'm just going to show you how different the application is in today's world as compared to 15 years ago. And there might be subtle differences to, but and certain a little bit different products used, but I'm going to try to keep the color story the same, exactly the same, and keep the product's similar or the same, unless it's, like my eyebrows for 2015, I'm going to use an eyebrow pencil. For today's world, I'm going to use eyebrow gel. So, just because it looks subtle and you don't notice a difference when I do my makeup on camera these days. But there is a difference, and you'll see it when you see one side of my face one way and another side of my face the other way. So I'm just going in with primer, no problem. Attention, so no problem. It smells really good. It smells very clean. And there will be kittens because they just woke up from a long nap and they are interested in everything. And they're into everything. And I love them to death. I mean, I helped give birth to 3 of them. Like, I literally put a latex glove on and went up into my cat's vagina and pulled them out. Helped her push her. While she pushed, I pulled. But as you can see, so we have interested parties. Who is this? Is that Star? No, that's Moonshine. Hi, Moonshine. Hi. Hi, Bubs. You gonna help me with makeup? They're investigating. No, my older age, and with summer rolling in, I don't wear as much makeup in the summer, for obvious reasons. A lot of it sweats off. And when you start mixing sweat and makeup and leaving it on for the rest of the day, you're just asking for skin problems. So we're going to start with the OG Beat. We're going to start with the OG Beat. He has a magical way of always calling right in the middle of me doing a video. I'm about sick of that. So the OG Beat would just be primer, and then you immediately put on foundation. I'm just going in with Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I wore this 10 years ago. Now, I do like some of the trendier stuff, but I tend to stick with what I like and what I know will work. I will try some of the newer things, but I tend to go for the drugstore version first and then go from there and see if something's actually really effective or really cool. But, as far as foundation goes, Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk is my go-to. As you can see, it's pretty much a perfect match in the shade. I am in the shade right now of 3.5. Will I get darker? Yes. My summer color is Patrick Ta's. His is a mouthful. Major Skin Hydrolux Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. This is in the shade Olive number 13. If that tells you anything about how dark I get in the summertime. So, yeah. This is not my winter shade. I could probably buck down to 2.5 in the winter on Giorgio Armani. But, yeah. I tend not to wear a lot of makeup in the winter unless I'm it's a Christmas party or something. Oh, all the kittens are investigating. Hardcore. So as you can see, this side of my face is very glowy. This one isn't like that. It's still glowy because of the primer, but it's not as glowy as it is over here. And you can already see an immediate difference. No under eye bag, not nearly as much. Just a cohesiveness in skin tone. No redness. It is a really great foundation. You can just see a huge difference in my complexion. I look a little bit healthier. I look perked up. I look like I'm awake. Whereas I don't have all this. You see a little bit less of this. So yeah, it's a really good foundation. you can build on it. I mean, even back in the day, I didn't really put more than one layer of foundation on. I'm not a cake girl. Just never really was my thing. This is actually quite cakey for me. So we're gonna go in with the Christian Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer, and we're gonna do the OG triangle. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. It's really hard to do this on one half of your face. So just do the OG beat a little bit here. So this is really, really difficult. Get my concealer brush. Okay, he's making this a 2-part video. I'm very sorry about that. I'm really sick of his bullshit. So let me answer this fucking phone call. Hopefully I can get back to a place where I don't have to fucking deal with his fucking incessant phone calls every time I try to do anything. So, yeah.